You know I love words. And again, in my midnight writing, I've got four of my favourite acronyms that I was taught in recovery. Actually, there's another one that comes to mind as I'm thinking it. I'll share with you. And people like myself that have to abstain from drugs and alcohol because we're addicts. You know, I'm not an emotional drinker or drugger. I'm an addict. So, and sometimes, you know, when people are getting into recovery, and you know, I work with people from all levels of society. So some people are very moneyed and very wealthy and very successful. So they might be elite athletes, or they might be on the stage, or, you know, a supermodel or something. And they might go to a recovery meeting and see people that had the arse fall out of their lives, and they might say afterwards, you know, oh, Jesus, I'm not that bad. You know, I'm not sure I'm an addict. I'm not that bad. And there's in this little blog, I want to talk to you about the first acronym called Y.E.T, the word Y.E.T. And one thing, you know, that was drummed into me is that, you know, Y.E.T means we've got to be careful of our Y.E.Ts as addicts, because if we don't self-care and stay in remission, we decline. And Y.E.T standing for Y.E.T, you're eligible too. And it works for and against you, you know. So when someone says, I'm not that bad, you know, I say Y.E.T. You know, it's not about being doom and gloom. If you don't look after yourself, it's like people sort of watching Biggest Loser and seeing people that are 80 kilos overweight as they shovel crap food in and don't look after themselves in any way, and drink and drug, you know. And if they keep going, you know, they will, you know, you're eligible too. You'll end up like that. What I find really interesting is, especially with some elite athletes and people that are really, really fit or really, really lean, you know, they eat organic, or they're vegetarian, or this, that, and the other, but they chug away at bloody hydroponic marijuana, or use cocaine, or, you know, it's almost like, you know, they put all these sorts of bloody chemicals into their body, but they are just the bloody food police about other things, or, you know, and it's just interesting. Anyway, you're eligible too. And I just want to talk to you about using that recovery meeting as an example. I remember I was in Sydney, and I'd just done a talk at a, you know, big company, and on the way there I was in Pitt Street, and I was a bit early, and I was in having a coffee in a coffee shop downstairs, and I had my computer out, and I was just working away, and having coffee, getting engrossed in what I was doing. Then I went upstairs and did the gig, and it was a big function and a lot of people there. And then as I came off the stage, the CEO said to me, you know, you want to come and have some lunch with me? And I said, yeah, that'd be great. And I reached for my purse just to, I don't know, I think put the USB stick back in it or something, and I realised my purse was gone. And I realised it had been stolen in the coffee shop. And I went to this major flurry, you know, because it had my ID in it, and I had to fly back to Brisbane, and just got into this major, major anxiety, thinking, you know, fuck, I got to get this organised. And, you know, my purse, for me, you know, for most women, it's got more than credit cards and money in it. It's a personal item. It's something that, you know, it's like a wallet. It's very, you know, has emotional attachment as well. Anyway, I was in a really, really upset, and, you know, just had a great morning, and all of a sudden just plummeted. And I was trying to work out what to do. And as I was going down in this high, you know, this skyscraper in the elevators coming down, the CEO's next to me, and I was sort of I said, look, I don't know if I can go to lunch. I might have to go to the airport. I've got no idea to get on the plane. And we're coming down the elevator, and the elevator stopped at, I think, the 13th or 14th floor, opened. And as it stood there was a little piece of A4 paper on the wall saying there was a recovery meeting on in that building. And I just tapped him on the shoulder and said, I have to take a raid check. I'm going to go to this recovery meeting. So I get out and I sit in this recovery meeting, and I sit there and I listen to this woman who was sharing about the fact that she was so grateful that she'd just come out of an alcoholic blackout. And she was so grateful that her house had just burned to the ground. And she must have fallen asleep with a cigarette in her hand or something after a big night in the booze, and her husband had just left her. And she was just being grateful for the fact that her neighbour rang the ambulance because she was out to it and got her and her kids out of the house. But she had nothing left to her name. And as I sat there, just getting back to the acronym of you're eligible too, you know, that was me. That could have easily been me. I used to fall asleep, and I used to drink and drug, and I smoked 3 packets of cigarettes a day, and I remembered I watched her and I thought, this is a little exercise in gratitude. I have luxury problems today. The fact that I've lost my wallet is a better quality of problem, and I'm eligible too to have problems like that if I don't, remain clean and sober. But also too, when good things happen and things go well, I'm eligible too for that. I mightn't have written the best book of my life yet, but I'm eligible too to do that and make a real difference. So yeah, that's the Y.E.T acronym.